Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Time. I'm Sean. This is a very special edition. It is Singles Awareness Day today. And we're going to be talking about all the love stories you want to hear about. I'm just kidding. Alright guys, news for you Independence Day fans out there. Will Smith will not be in the new Part 2 and Part 3 of Independence Day. There's been a lot of controversy with this, going back and forth. At one point he was in, at one point he's out, at another point he wants to have his kids take act in it. The studio wrote 2 scripts for this, just in case this would happen, and so what they're ready to go without him, and they're ready to go with him. In this case, now they are ready to go without him. Independence Day 2 is set to come out July 1st, 2016. Also on July 2016 is set to come out the new Tarzan movie that was just announced this week. It's going to be live action. This movie is going to be directed by David Yates. You guys know him if you're Harry Potter fans. He comes from directing some of the Harry Potter movies. The male lead playing Tarzan will be Alexander Skarsgård, Eric from True Blood, if you guys are fans of that show. And the female lead playing Jane is going to be Margot Robbie. You guys might remember her from her role this past year in The Wolf of Wall Street. She did really good for a newcomer to the screen, and I'm not just saying that because she was a beautiful woman and I was distracted by her. So now you got 2 movies on the same day. Does Tarzan, do you guys think it will be able to hold up against Independence Day 2? Alright guys, also just this week, it's happening. The Avengers Age of Ultron started principal photography in Johannesburg. The Avengers Age of Ultron is going to be a great, big, gigantic movie. They are letting little things out here and there, telling us, oh, Black Widow is going to be having a bigger role. We might delve into her past a little bit more. Or, Ultron's coming from Iron Man, and that's going to expand that role even bigger. And then now, last week, we have them announcing, Marvel announcing that the Vision is going to be in there. So I'm really happy about this. Like I said, great, big, huge, gigantic movie. Starting principal photography. This is just them getting shots of areas, things that might be flyovers, getting things set up. But in a matter of weeks, they'll be having actors on set. So I'm really excited, really happy about this. It's happening. I'm just really happy about this. Alright guys, there were also a few trailers that caught my attention this week. First off is the Purge 2 Anarchy. This movie looks really cool. I really was interested in the first Purge, and this is really the meat of the Purge storyline. If you think about it, the whole world. It's going to be taking place outside, not in the confines of somebody's safe house. The second trailer I saw this week was Think Like a Man 2. This one takes place in Las Vegas. I really like that setting, so I'm already rooting for it. I saw the first one. I actually liked the first one. This one looks like it's going to up the ante with the comedy and go for more of that comedy than the heartfelt kind of vibes it had in the first one. I think it's going to go for a little more comedy in this one. So it looks interesting. Kevin Hart's been in everything lately, and I'm pretty sure that this role is going to be another boost for his career. Trailer of Brick Mansions, Paul Walker's one of his last films that's going to be coming out. It looks pretty interesting. It's a big. He plays a cop that has to go into this this sealed off, walled off portion of a city. It has parkour. It has gangs, violence, action, all kinds of crazy stuff. I am waiting. I am not holding my breath on this one, but I am interested in this because it is one of Paul Walker's last films. Last trailer I saw this week was called Drive Hard. It stars John Cusack and Thomas Jane. This movie looks very interesting. John Cusack plays the role of this thief. It kind of reminds me of his role in Grosse Pointe Blank, or War Inc. I think it was called, where he plays an action role. It's kind of interesting. I usually don't see him in those types of movies, so I like that. But in this one, because he is a thief, he's a little more edgier. I like that. So then you also have Thomas Jane, who is this pretty badass character in a lot of the stuff he does. And in this one, he plays an ex-race car driver who's kind of like a square now. He's a driving teacher, driving instructor. It looks pretty interesting. It's a role that I've never seen Thomas Jane play before, so I'm very interested in this one. I can't wait to see more from this one. Alright guys, opening this week in theaters, you have a couple movies I'm interested in. Opening on Wednesday was Robocop. I was really trying to see the first Robocop, and so I could have a basis and I could refresh my memory of that one before I see this one. It was really hard to find, and I wasn't able to do so. So I'm going to probably go into this one, hopefully seeing it this week or next week, and have a fresh opinion of it. We'll see what happens with this one. It's been getting mixed reviews from what I've seen so far, and I'm just crossing my fingers hoping it turns out to be a pretty good action film. The second movie that is coming out this weekend, that is catching my attention is About Last Night. Again, starring Kevin Hart. He's in everything these days. And this movie, I don't know about this one. This one looks interesting, but I don't think I'm going to catch it in theaters. I'm probably going to wait for some kind of date night in the future when it's on Blu-ray. Alright guys, our movie of the week this week was recommended by a friend of mine. It is Life of Pi. I haven't seen this movie, and I was, for some reason, I didn't want to see it. I think it was because of the trailers. The trailers, to me, did not make it look interesting. But when I watched this movie, I saw how particularly pretty it was. The movie won 4 Academy Awards. Ang Lee won Best Director. It got Best Score, Cinematography, Visual Effects. It won 4 Oscars for this movie. And I gotta say, this movie is very pretty. Ang Lee and whoever was the cinematographer, whoever did a lot of the special effects, whoever did put all that together, they did a great job with this film. It really kind of blew my mind on some of the parts of some of the scenes in this movie where they show different things that you didn't expect to happen. And it's just wow. It's like, sometimes when I was watching this, I actually did say, oh wow, that looks great, that's amazing. That's only one aspect of the film, of course. I really liked that. The other aspect of the film that I really liked as well was the fact that it was being narrated. It was kind of like a Forrest Gump film, and this is funny because in Forrest Gump you have Tom Hanks. You have Tom Hanks, who also played in Castaway, and this movie to me reminded me of both movies, Castaway and Forrest Gump. It was narrated by the main character as an older version of himself, and I really like movies like that because it helps me dive into this type of story. It really helps me just envelop myself with what's going on. I really like that about this. It was acted well from beginning to end. The main character, as when he was a little boy or as an adult, he did very, very good. There was nothing in there that made me think like, oh, they should have gotten a better actor. Both actors that played the main character did very well. Every other side character in the film did pretty well as well. I really liked the acting in it. That drew me in as well. Storytelling was good. Visual effects great. Acting really good as well. So far so good. The film, the kid is with his family. They're leaving India. They had to sell the family zoo, the animals, and they're on this freighter, and it wrecks. He's one of the only survivors. Out of his family, he's the only survivor, and he survives on this boat. The story's going along great. He's narrating. It does a really good job of putting in little bits and pieces of when he's older, clarifying things to this writer that he's talking to, and going back to when he's on this this little boat trying to survive. It does a really good job of mixing those up, and it tells this story. And so he's on this boat trying to survive. Every now and then they show you a scene where they go around the boat with the camera, and you can see him crossing the days, how many days he's been out there. It really just makes you think like, oh my God, would I be able to do that? I thought of that, and I was like, I don't know if I'd be able to make it. I mean, I was a Boy Scout when I was younger, and I don't think I would have had any of the smarts that he had in this movie to survive the way he did. So throughout the movie, the narration goes on, and he finally ends up and he gets back home. At the end of the movie, and this is a bit of a spoiler, I'm not going to go into too deep of detail, but at the end of the story, instead of finishing it off and telling you his story, he creates a separate story that is similar, but then tells you choose what you want to believe. And to me, that took me out of the whole story, the whole film. I'm not going to say it's a bad film at all because of that. This is a really good film. It probably deserved a lot of those Academy Awards that it won, but this one aspect, I'm never a fan of that. I'm not a fan of them not finishing a product, or finishing a product but then changing their mind and then saying, oh well, that might not have been it. I'm not a fan of that. When he started changing that, like what his narration was right there at the end, he, instead of going from this is what I've been telling you the whole time, no, this is possibly what it was now, you believe, when he said that, I was just like, really? And so that took me out of this movie. But that is one little thing out of this whole film that was beautifully directed, beautifully acted, score was well made, visual effects were awesome. A really great movie. I definitely recommend you guys go picking this up. It's in Redbox. It's out there. Go watch this film. Your eyes will thank you for it. It's a very touching film with the relationships that are built in it. So I definitely think that you guys would enjoy this film. My whole mind was changed after watching this film. I told myself, just like with Warrior, I don't know why I took so long to see this film, and I should have seen it sooner. And I think you guys should too. Alright guys, that's it for Movie Time this week. Remember to click the like, share, subscribe buttons down below. Leave your comments, questions, inquiries, and suggestions for Movie of the Week for future weeks in the comment section. So let's have a great conversation this week, you guys, and we'll see you next time.